doing today? So staying in that trouble? You got your ID on you, Chip?
No, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? What's up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. Right? So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's a shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands available, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flashlight you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting chippy. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to park police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside, because Donald Trump is tired of it. People come to visit.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know smoking in public?
I play that to say this man is sitting in his home on his front stoop in his home. And if you're listening, what you don't see, it's about 6 or 7 law enforcement officers from various agencies surrounding him and another person. Some of the more violent videos have been people literally fleeing, running when they see them approaching. And to me, I'm curious to hear from you guys, this is a litmus test on how much will we take. Now, I don't know what it looks like to stand up to this. I want us to survive, but I know we can't roll over and take this. So how much are we willing to take? Because the more and more we accept this, the more and more we normalize this, the more it's going to spread. So I don't know what the pushback is, but it has to be something. And right now I do see a lot of people, yelling at them. A friend of the show, Booker Squared, welcomed police this way.
What do you see? What do you see? I see a whole bunch of tongues right here.
Angela, what's her name? Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Can't imagine being black.
Elizabeth Booker, Houston.
I sure can't imagine being a black person defending this shit. I can't imagine being a black person and working for an organization that was rooted in slave catching, but that's just me. I think the closer you get to white supremacy, the better off you're gonna be. Hell no. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I saw the way they left them 5 black officers and
So Elizabeth Booker Houston, who is a friend of the show, has been a guest on the show. That is her welcoming the added law enforcement, and it's a very bodacious move.
At the Heritage.
Right. So I don't know.
In front of the Heritage Foundation.
She's been protesting the Heritage Foundation since before the D.C. takeover, though. So yes, I didn't mean it. I just wanted to clarify that. She's been consistent. She's been out there.
To your question, your point, Tiff, if I could, about how much will we take and surviving whatever the experience is, I really think the gentleman demonstrated well, right? Not escalating. The officer asking him for information while he sits on his property, minding his business, not inviting an interrogation like this. And the truth is these kinds of situations don't prevent violent crimes. What they 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 times will do is take what might be a normal situation in a normal neighborhood and escalate it off of anything. It could have been a refusal to give a license, or get off the porch and go inside and grab it and come back and show me. And any hesitation could have been a whole different kind of situation. And we all know what those potential conclusions could have been. So law enforcement, on one hand, should be serving the role of de-escalation, of how do you say?
De-arresting.
Yeah. I mean, just de-arresting. Right. But basically eliminating anxiety in situations. And when you go out and you're faced with that kind of show of force of law enforcement, and bless his heart, but a law enforcement agent who's not really able to explain what the hell they out there doing. I mean, he says we're here to prevent crimes. And, you know, in my opinion, you're here to potentially provocate a situation that could spiral out of control. So it's how far we go is one, survive each incident, survive each of these moments, folks, as you're out there. But two, I think we have to protest. I think it starts from the top down and from the bottom up. You don't have to wait for instructions from your mayor. Your mayor may not give those instructions to get out and show your disapproval. But as we saw in LA, the display of nonviolent disapproval pushed them back and made them a little catty about their appearance there because they didn't belong. So I think people have to raise their voices and show that this is not the role of the federal government. We resist it. We understand that you are on orders, but you right now represent this person who's attempting to manipulate everything about what we think and what we know to put in front of us a whole, situation that didn't deserve this, doesn't require it. If you really care, put some money back in. Put that $1 billion you took out of the budget from local governments, give that back to local law enforcement so they can actually do the work of preventing crime instead of this scapegoating to basically avoid talking about, a child molester and what his role is in that molestation.
So I want to get into this really quickly. So Donald Trump issued this executive memorandum to Secretary Pete Hegseth on Monday, calling for this D.C. takeover. What is ordinary in these circumstances is that the federal government would exercise its jurisdiction in Section 740 to take over the Metropolitan Police Department, as well as bring in the National Guard and other law enforcement entities from the feds in a state of emergency. What I'm wondering is why it wasn't a state of emergency on January 6th. What I'm wondering is why it's not an emergency when ICE is raiding people's homes, separating families. I want to know why it's not a state of emergency when crime was up 30%. Again, it's dropped 30%. So I am hoping that the mayor, that the attorney general in D.C. rely on these points when they go to argue the subjective standard that Donald Trump is relying upon to interpret Section 740, and they push back. Why does that matter right now? Andrew, everything you're saying in L.A., we were on a panel in Tunica, Mississippi for the CBC Institute, the Mississippi Policy Conference. Nana Jumphy, who's been a guest on our show, talked about L.A. being ready. They were ready to protest. They were ready for what was coming. What I think that, to Tiff's point around a litmus test too, is a lot of our folks are unready. They did not know how bad this was coming. This man that Tiff just played, sitting on his front porch, is like, what are you even talking about, friend? Right? Like, he has no idea this is coming. So we need some of the court actions taken so that we can buy our folks time to organize. I wanted to say that in closing, because I know we have a very important update to get to from Tiff about her trip to the motherland. So I know we want to transition into that, but want to leave it open for just a moment, literally a moment, for any closing words from y'all before we transition.
If you get ready, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.